In the 1960s, we, the original Black Americans, were united. That's where in Alabama they had the bus boycott, where not a single woman rode the bus. They had strike against the bus and the segregated cities, sit-ins, even before Rosa Parks. And the people of Alabama were so united. They chose the woman of the movement, and they were the one that was most instrumental. They chose Martin Luther King to be the leader of the movement. And they were successful. They walked or stayed home from work. And since most of them was domestic workers, sometimes their employers picked them up in a car, or even they themselves had a carpool. So we was united. They even had articles about us and documentary on television about us being a nation within a nation. So they always to cut us off from being a nation. In the 1960s, they had what's called a long hot summers, where there was uprising. So guess what they did? In 1965, they had a immigration act, an open immigration law, where they allowed lots and lots of immigrants to come in. Before, it was only Northern Europe, people from Northern Europe that was allowed in. Then, all of a sudden, in 65, they allowed immigrants from the Caribbean, Africa to start pouring in. And before that, it was only less than 1% or so of black immigrants coming into the country. Now, we think that was odd. Why, if they have an uprising from black people, that they would allow more black people to come in? It kind of, our understanding was not there at that time. And it only took us 60 years till today to find out their motive, was to confuse the people, keep them from being united. And in 1967, after so many years of the miscegenation laws, all of a sudden in 1967 they allowed mixed marriages. And 16 states had laws against that. So how we could defeat that? By refusing to have sex with them. And about immigrants, we have to become united, but they have to follow our lead. That's the only answer, or we have to separate from them so we could become united. Well, Caucasian is cunning. Who would have known that they would bring more black people in to the nation at the time when there was black uprisings? And it seemed logical, but they had a logical reason, and that was to put strife between our unity, to break up our unity. And why, after all these years, 1967, and 16 southern states still had laws against miscegenation. So there was method to their madness. I said there was a method to their madness. But now we have overcome, we have known their trickery. Even took us 60 years to find that out. Getting wise to their trickery. Where they're trying to keep us from becoming a nation. And then when we were a nation within a nation. Where we united. And the thumbnail is of a book where they advocated miscegenation, white people, In 1864, they wrote about the benefit of miscegenation, or amalgamation, they call it, or mixing of the races. In 1864. And there's a book, God Rules the Negroes, where they talk about the savages in Africa that sold us. We were people from, Asiatic people up from Egypt and Samar, Babylon, and those countries, civilizations that we started in North Africa. And we fled to the south with the onslaught of the Persians and other white people. And we were kidnapped by savages and sold into slavery.